Welcome back to your daily basketball recap. Today is a very late one, but we're still here. I want to start off with they finally announced the suspensions from, I believe it was yesterday or 2 days ago, game of the Pistons and the Hornets. If you don't know, there was a huge brawl, huge showdown. 4 people ended up being involved: Isaiah Stewart, Miles Bridges, Musa Diabate, and Jalen Duren. Most importantly, those last two. The NBA finally decided on those punishments, and those are as follows: Jalen Duren is suspended 2 games. Musa Diabate is 4. Miles Bridges is 4, and Isaiah Stewart is 7. I'm assuming that the Isaiah Stewart one is more likely because he came all the way off the bench after things were kind of broken up to really try to get in on the fun. So I think that they want to really make sure that doesn't happen again with anybody, and that was the further enforcement of that one. So that's going to be rough for the Pistons. For 2 games, they basically have no centers except for Paul Reed, who played really well in his minutes in the last game when he was the sole Piston center available. But don't fight. That's the consequence. That's what happens when you throw punches. That was less games than John Morant flashing a gun in an Instagram story. Literally people punching each other in the face. So do with that what you will. I just think it's kind of weird. It's a weird way to enforce that rule. Anyways, let's move on to the games of the night. Game of the night by far, Pacers Knicks. What a great game. The Pacers win 137 to 134. This is like a budding rivalry for the future, and I'm excited about it. This Knicks team is so good, and you saw them in the game prior to this, how good they really could be with Jose Alvarado out there alongside, Jalen Brunson at certain times. Two small guard lineup was still working perfectly fine. It's going to be interesting with 3 when Deuce actually comes back, but it was a really fun game down the stretch. Pascal Siakam had 30. Nemhard had 24 and 10. And it was just close. Overtime. It was really, really close by 3. It was a great Tuesday night game. Quentin Jackson, 19, 6, and 3. He had a crazy block. Micah Porter had 10 points. TJ McConnell had 13. Jay Huff had 10. Ben Shepherd had 10. That's a lot of players in double digits for the Pacers. They're really passing the ball around. The Rick Carlisle system is really working perfectly. Looks a lot better without Ben Mathurin on that team, which is pretty crazy. And I'm sure that it's going to look immense when Zubats finally steps on the floor. But for this Knicks team, Jalen Brunson had 40 points on 15 of 31 shooting. That's a lot of shooting and a lot of points, and still no win. Bridges had 22, 6 and 3. Towns has been putting up some really good games recently. All the criticism, I think he feels the renewed sense of trust that he has in himself from his Knicks organization. 22, 14, and 3 with 5 turnovers, which wasn't great, but 8 of 17 shooting, which was much better. He took 6 3-point shots. He hasn't been shooting a lot of threes, but this game he was. Hart had 15, 11, and 11, so a really nice triple-double from him. And Landry Shamet, 17 points, really contributing in many ways, but his shot has looked really great this year as well. This Knicks team is really good. They're really good. This speaks more, in my mind, to the talent of the Pacers, even with all of their missing people. I really like this Pacers team a lot, and they're really good, and they deserve a lot of credit for how hard they play. People don't give them a lot of credit, obviously, because the record doesn't reflect, their level of talent, but really, they've done a really good job of making it through this year, looking like a team that could really be something next year when Halliburton comes back and Zubats is now going to be playing with them. It looks like they could really be something. Next, the Rockets beat the Clippers 102 to 95. Durant had 26 points. Şengün added 22, 9 of 14 shooting, so better shooting from him. Amen Thompson also played 16, 6, and 1. Jabari Smith Jr. 13. Reed Shepherd off the bench with 16, 6, 4, 2 steals, and a block on 6 of 10 shooting, 4 of 6 from 3-point range. They really need that, and he really gave it for them. It's not looking great, especially because that's less than a 10-point win on a Clippers team that just doesn't have anyone on it right now. Everyone's injured. They played so many guys because of the fact that they don't have anybody on this team. They had to go so far into their bench because the talent that their starters bring right now is. I wonder what the average age of this team is at this point now they traded Harden and all this stuff. Kawhi Leonard put up 24 points, 8, 3, and 1, 7 of 19 shooting. That's like, not a good shooting game from Kawhi Leonard. That's very, very rare. John Collins, 17 and 8, and nobody else scored in double digits. That's crazy. That's crazy to me. This Clippers team is really, they're looking tired. They're looking a little bit depressed these days because Harden, he's gone. And Garland, I wonder if he plays again. No, he's going to play, but they're really waiting for him to come back to maybe give them like some second life. They need that youth, and that's pending. Mathurin, first game as a Clipper, 4 of 13 shooting. I think it's going to get better over time. I think actually he might stay on this Clippers team in the long term, and I think that he one day, if that does happen, I think he will be a good Clipper because he's got all the makings to be that kind of guy, to be like a good shooting guard, small forward, and really contribute on both ends of the floor. It's just he's a little bit raw still. He's got to mold into shape. But on the other side, Şengün was named an All-Star. I don't love what I'm seeing so far from him. I think that he has a lot of reputation in Eurobasket. Look what they played over the summer. He looked great. He looked better in the beginning of this season, but ever since a little bit before he had that injury that kept him out a couple weeks, and now defensive rotations are very slow. Offensively, he looks out of sync with everybody else. I'm not loving it, and he needs to really, really work on the cohesion because otherwise it's not gonna go well for them in the playoffs. Next, the Suns 120 versus Mavs 111. Suns absolutely they just they destroyed them. Dallas, they're at 8 games losing now, 8 games in a row. Dillon Brooks scored 23. He really he outlasted. He made sure that they won they won this game. Devin Booker had 19. That being said, I really think he should have been an All-Star. I really genuinely believe that Dillon Brooks should have been an All-Star. Mark Williams contributed 13, 9, and 1, 6 of 7 shooting. Also, better shooter this season from 3 than Devin Booker is Dillon Brooks. Isn't that crazy? Royce O'Neal, 12 points. Off the bench, Jalen Green had 12 for them. Very nice. Ryan Dunn had 12, and Osei Ighodaro had 10 and 10 with 4 assists. So nice passing to the big man. This Suns team they're so much fun. They play so fast and it's so much fun, especially with Dillon Brooks' defense. Like they're very feisty. Flag on the other side of the court had 27, 5, and 2. PJ Washington chipped in with 13 points. Najee Marshall off the bench had 31 points. Very nice amount. Najee, 12 of 17 shooting, 5 of 7 from the line. Chris Middleton made his Mavs debut with 13, 5, and 2. It was relatively tame. Otherwise, this game wasn't, this is based off of where the talent we've seen on both of these teams. This should be what's happening right now. Mavs should, show out with their talent. Cooper Flag played 36 minutes. Their defense was good. They've had really good season, really good defense throughout the whole season so far. And less 3-point shooting from Cooper Flag until it goes in more consistently. This game he was 0 for 1, so it's nice. 11 of 14 from the free throw line. But overall, it should be how the rest of their season goes, because I don't know what the point of bringing Kyrie back is for the maybe take it like season ticket holders, but don't. It's okay. You're allowed to have a year where you look like, the seasons that you had with Luka in the beginning of his career, where you're not the best, but you're getting there. You're getting there. You get to see the potential blossom of a young rookie. The Spurs beat the Lakers 136 to 108. There was no real Lakers on this team tonight. Nobody really stepped onto the court that was certified Laker these days. But I will tell you, Victor Wembanyama, I think the stat was in 20 minutes, had 40 and 12. He ended up playing 26 minutes. 40 and 12 in 20 minutes is not, it's like you're playing 2K with the extended quarters. Like, this is insane. This is a really, really insane thing to do. And it's not normal. And I think that people are actually, we spoke about it on the podcast, like, we're talking about if Wemby is underwhelming. He's not underwhelming. He's just awesome. And people, it's like with Jokic, people are just getting used to seeing the stat lines. It's not normal. It's not normal. 13 of 20 for him, 4 of 6 from three-point range. Again, he didn't really have so much competition against him, but it's Wembanyama, so, like, there's very few teams that are actually giving him proper competition, honestly. Um, Aside from him, Carter Bryant off the bench had 16 points. He's looking like a absolute steal for them, and we knew it kind of at the beginning of the season, but now we really feel it. Speaking of the Spurs breaking, Shams just reported that Jeremy Sohan, I think, is being released by the Spurs, which is pretty crazy. I wonder if he goes to the Knicks because they were trying to trade for him before the deadline. Very interesting. We'll talk about that tomorrow. Derek Harper, 15 points off the bench as well, 6 of 8 shooting. Their rookies are going to be around in the NBA and on this team for a very long time. They really got some good rookies this year. Harrison Barnes at 11. That was all the people who scored in double digits this last game. And on the Lakers side, Luke Kennard led them in scoring with 14 points. Drew Timme also had 14 points, and when those are the top 2 names that you're reading off, you know that it's time to stop reading. That was your daily basketball recap. I want to wish you all a great rest of your day, and we will see you tomorrow.